He became president of the United States just by answering one question. And get this, the question was, if two pigs are fighting, who wins in the end? The guy answered, the pig wins. This absolutely shocked everyone there. He was the first person in the world to actually get it right. Turns out, in this future world, Americans' IQ had dropped to single digits across the board. The reason was that smart people were too busy with work and didn't want to have kids, while people with low IQs were only interested in making more babies. So after all these years, Americans' intelligence had seriously declined. To deal with this crisis, the government came up with a plan to put two high IQ people into hibernation and wake them up 10 years later to save everyone's rapidly declining intelligence. Nick and Anna were chosen as the first test subjects. The government promised them a generous reward after 10 years. So the two of them entered the hibernation pods. But what they didn't expect was that the only person who knew about this plan got arrested for corruption, and the whole experiment was completely forgotten. Years later, the lab was demolished, and the hibernation pods were tossed into a garbage dump. Fast forward 500 years. Due to overpopulation, the trash had piled up like mountains, but nobody was cleaning it up. When the last soda can fell from a garbage truck, the mountain of trash instantly collapsed. A massive wave of garbage came flooding into the city like a tsunami. Nick's hibernation pod got swept into Jack's house. The pod happened to open up, and Nick woke up. Jack was studying and got interrupted. He was so pissed that he immediately got up and threw Nick out the window. Nick wanted to go to the hospital to get checked out, but even the hospital billboards looked completely idiotic. Once inside the hospital, it was obvious that everyone there didn't seem too bright. Nick tried to find a doctor. The nurse stared at the cartoon icons for ages, and finally just picked one at random. Nick got sent in for an examination. The doctor gave him 3 metal rods, one to put in his mouth, one to put in his ear, and another one to put in his butt. Nick had just gotten them all in place when the doctor said, "Oops, wrong order. Take them out and put them back in." The one that was in his butt should go in his mouth. Nick was totally confused. As soon as the exam was over, he ran to the faucet to rinse his mouth. Later, he saw in a magazine that it was now the year 2505. Wait, had he really been asleep for 500 years? He immediately ran to the window and opened the curtains. Outside, buildings that were about to collapse were just tied up with ropes. Bridges were broken, but cars just kept driving forward anyway. Nick was stunned by everything he was seeing. That evening, he went to a vending machine when suddenly 2 cops came rushing out. Before he could even explain himself, they tackled him to the ground. Nick was brought to court. The judge didn't look too smart, but still thoughtfully assigned him a lawyer. Turns out this lawyer was Jack, but Jack actually helped the other side's lawyer accuse Nick of being guilty. Finally, the judge slammed the gavel, declared Nick guilty, and sentenced him to 10,000 years in prison.